Hey everyone, Zero Jada here with the X-Play Fans channel. This is Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition. It is like the complete edition of Hollow Knight. It is also a lovely Metroidvania game with an amazing art style, great controls, and beautiful music. I am right now at the main sort of town. I want to show you around a bit and then kind of show the game. I've played about 3 hours this game, and I actually have unlocked a few abilities, one of them being a kind of a blast I can do, and I'll explain all that later. I also have a air dash, and I have a wall jump. So in this game, you are going from this town underground to what used to be a great kingdom. Now people go there to seek treasures, but there's like a side effect that you're losing memories and going crazy. As you can see, I have explored a few areas now. Just to be aware, there might be mild spoilers, so just be ready for that. This is my inventory screen, normal Metroidvania stuff. I'm collecting heart pieces to get better stuff. I've upgraded my weapon. My abilities are right here. And I've gotten some journals and mild collectibles here and there. Charms are kind of like socketable items you can use. Right now I have a compass, a little gathering swarm that goes out and picks up the money for me, and I kind of set up to do like farm for stuff. We're actually going to change that in 1 second. And then there's actually a journal that the more you kill of enemies, it unlocks a little like information about this. Like at the top is their name, it's a little bit about them, and then below it is like a little more like information. So we're gonna actually go over to the bench where you kind of save. The map system in this game is really interesting. You actually have to buy the maps. And I think that's really cool. So let's see, put in the soul catcher, that gives me more juice. And let's do gathering swarm. I've been using the boulder shell that when I'm healing, which I'll show you later, it protects me, but I don't think I should need that right now. So the map system is essentially like you have to buy the map, and then you can buy a pen and quill, and as you're exploring, you'll go through areas that you haven't seen before. You come back to a bench, you sit down, and you actually fill out your own map. It's actually really cool. So here is one of the stores. This is the one where you buy like the map stuff and all that. Oh, this is not the map store. The store next to it is the map store. This lady, her husband goes around and fills out maps and stuff. So let's see, cocoon pins. The vendor, like I can buy all these to be like, hey, I want to mark this on the map. So let's go ahead and buy the cocoon pin. It's going to use the little things in my upper left. But we're not going to go into any of the later areas. We'll probably just check out the first area, and you just go down here to go through the town. So the method of healing in this game is very interesting. If you see in the upper left, I have an empty sort of circle, and next to that are my healths. So let's see. And as you saw there, I was kind of filling up that little meter there to fill that little... killing the guys fills that vial, or hitting them fills that vial. And if I want to heal, I hold B. And I'm actually rooted in place, and I have to heal myself, which is a very strategic movement when you're actually fighting a boss. So this is why I really enjoy the map system, because at first I didn't have any of this filled in. I also didn't have any of these markers or that little icon where my little guy is. Actually, if you can, if I hold the bumper thing, it can be kind of like and I love how he moves on the map. But that entire map system's done in an amazing way. For those curious, there is a fast travel system. It's called the Stag Coach. He'll run you around between areas. If you look at the map, if you see actually straight down from where I am, where the purple is, there's actually a bench and a purple icon. That's where the Stag Coach is. And if when you're going to each area, you have to find the map maker, and it's an entire thing. That's you have to buy it and all that kind of fun stuff. So this is very much a Metroidvania game. You're navigating around, getting power-ups, and killing enemies. What's something I love about this game is that it teaches you without actually teaching. Fairly early on, there was a little rock that you hit to get money out of. If you're close to when you have to be a certain distance from the rock to hit it, and you hit it, and then the wall behind it broke. So it's kind of telling you to be like, hey, you need to search for secrets. Secrets exist in this game. It also does a thing, as you can see these enemies here. Well, not these variations, but there was a specific kind that was would wind up, and then attack, like wind up and then dash at you. So later on there was a boss that actually followed that same pattern. It was the same enemy but scaled up, and this has happened multiple times in the game where you will fight a enemy and then fight like a mother version of it or something like that that has the same sort of attack pattern, but will have slight variations or bigger swings attached to it, if that makes sense. If I can find here, actually this will be a perfect time to, here it is. Like this guy right here, he has the giant mace, and what he would do is that he would swing back and slam it down, which means you'd have to dodge it. You'd hit and dodge it out of the way. He also had an attack where he fell backwards and made a shockwave. Later on, I fought this guy who has the same attack patterns, but had a bigger hitbox and larger range. And but later on, he would go berserk and slam on the ground, and orbs would fall from the ceiling. So it was that like this lovely way of teaching you without actually saying anything. So as you saw earlier, I had an attack where I shot something out. So if you watch my upper left, that actually uses my I believe soul gauge. And I can now actually collect this guy and be like, bam! So these are one of the little collectibles, and if you go to the upper left there where those little mounds are, there is a guy who will give you rewards for saving the little guys. I recently unlocked the dash, and then soon after that I actually unlocked the wall jump, which is a really, really good and really responsive wall jump. However, immediately after that, I got the wall jump, I was then introduced to an area to get some extra goodies where I would have to skillfully navigate the wall jumping, so it gives you ample time to learn how to use it in a semi-safe environment. Semi-safe is in, hey, there were death walls. But it wasn't like, hey, we're gonna immediately throw you into a boss and not give you a chance to actually do anything. Like, once again, a lovely way of this game teaching you without actually saying anything. The first or second Metroid, if I'm remembering correctly, did that in an excellent way. Oh, here we go. And like I said about art style earlier, it is just a beautiful, beautiful game. Look, he is so psyched that I've been helping him out. You just kind of, look how cute they are. I like to think that they're caterpillars, but they're probably maggots. It also does the great thing of how introducing moves are not only good for movement ability, but also for combat, and just generally speeding up your adventure throughout this lovely but depressing world. There's always an entire air of sadness and almost hopelessness at times. Some of the enemies are clearly could have been residents of the world above, but have degenerated into a mindless state. Those guys I was fighting earlier, you'll actually see corpses of them just kind of laying around in a city sort of setting. Their daily lives interrupted and destroyed. There are also areas that have like what look like caskets, or just the background, just these, like one of the creatures I encountered earlier, someone stated that it's, oh, these creatures have always been friendly, but they've been driven mad kind of thing. So it's just a non-stop air of both beauty and just depression. If you couldn't guess, I cannot recommend this game highly enough. But let's head over to a slightly later area so you can see the kind of variation. They also do the thing of like, hey, you've traversed this room. It was kind of annoying, but we are now allowing you to unlock a shorter path through the area, like you're cutting down a vine that opens a faster way to get through. And of course, each area has its own unique enemies and own unique challenges. Oh, that's a. So one of the perks I have actually allows me to bypass having to worry about being hit while recharging, but it does take damage and can be destroyed. Hey, buddy. I'm not going to talk to you, though. So this is the stack station. I'm going to smack that, and he's going to come in and see me. Let's go to the green path. It's not super far in, but it will at least show us like a different variation of creatures. Any sort of cutscene in this game is beautiful and insanely stylized. I'm so happy we got this game. Also, the benches serve as save stations. So if you die, you'll go back to them. Speaking of death, if you do die, you leave behind a sort of shadow. These are the guys I was talking about before that wind up. And like this guy here, slightly different. Oh, I didn't even see that above me. But if you die, you leave behind a... Damn, I was gonna... Well, come on, don't... You leave a Dark Souls-esque shadow behind that if you want your stuff back, you actually have to go, come on. There we go, perfect. So this happens, and then you get shot back to your last save point. As you can see on the top left, I've lost my money, and my little orb is cracked, so meaning I can't fill that up unless I go back and avenge myself. And your little shadow's kind of there, and then of course the orb is now fixed, and all is well, which I think is a lovely system. So of course, when that first happened that first time, I died to him. So let's see, let's go up and to the right and see what's over there, and then I might end this for you guys. But if you cannot tell, I'm in love with this game. This is gonna be between Dead Cells and this game for my indie game of the year. In this game, while I love Dead Cells, this game does have a certain desperation charm that's it's more up front in this game than it is in Dead Cells. So there are 3 versions of this guy. The first version, this little guy. Another one is a giant amalgamation of leaves that charges you. If you hit it, it pops out the guy who's inside of it. And then the final version of that is actually a boss, which did the thing of, hey, this is what you're going to encounter later on. So kind of be ready for that. Oh, I thought there was one of them over here. There was not. There he is. And then, of course, he just turns into that thing. Oh. I'm too far down. But yeah, I love this game. I'm eager to actually complete it. I might play it multiple times. I'm not sure exactly what the DLC entails, but it has me hooked. So let's just go a little bit farther. I'm not too worried about taking damage from these guys just because I can. The bosses have been, like I said, pretty good. Very interesting to be able to like learn from a normal enemy of, hey, this is what you're going to be dealing with later on. Okay, so this I've actually... Oh, so that was their spike. So this is actually the area I was talking about before where like, hey, these creatures used to be nice and passive. Now they just want to murder you. There we go. Movement abilities. So I don't actually have the map for this area yet. Oh, this is the thing I was talking about earlier. The rock here, but so it was like, say it was like positioned right where I'm standing. I went and I hit it and the wall made a funny sound. And by the times, the amount of times I needed to hit it actually allowed me to break it. And right now I'm not doing the best platforming. Oop. Let's get to the end of this map and then I will let you guys go because I've kept you a while. But if I could, I would just play this game for you guys the entire way through. So as you saw, I do not actually have the map for this area, so I don't know anything. This is where I went down earlier. You can use the right stick to kind of look around. Alright, actually I do need to go down here. So I opened that chest and I jumped down and like these 2 guys were shooting at me. It was crazy. Oh, I do not think... Oh, yes I can. Another fun thing that they do is that you can vaguely hear it. Oh, that's a perfect example of the wall being opened. If you're in an area, you can actually sometimes hear the residents of that area. Right now, if you listen, you can hear the little worm guy kind of calling for you. You can see him right there in that area. The guy who makes maps, you can hear him in that area. So that's a perfect example of how they're kind of setting you up. Oh, that's a falling thing that hit me earlier just now. Like, they kind of train you to be like, hey, I know what's in this room. For like the map guy, usually he's in a safe area. But I'm gonna let you guys go now. I've gone for a little while. I've done nothing. I have nothing but praise for this game. It's beautiful, and this might be getting close to a boss or a story point. So I'm gonna let you go. I don't know what that is, but I am Zero Jetty, the CXplay Fans channel. This is Hollow Knight Voidheart Edition. It is an amazing game. I believe it is worth one of those games that is you need to play. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day.